Hey guys, what's up? Today we're going to talk about, for the first time ever in Boleros history, the NBA reacting to that crazy Luka Doncic and AD trade. We're going to talk about some other news around the world in basketball, and later in the segment, we're going to talk about some of the most shocking transfers in the UAAP. So stay tuned for that. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Gablim, and Mr. Maui Yap. First time
Been a
ever.
while.
It's been a
Been a
while. It's been a
while.
while. Dahil wala tayong UAAP news masyado. And I think it's the first slow news
It's
day,
slow
diba?
off season.
And I think it's the first time ever that we're going to talk about the NBA. Something that we've sort of avoided the past, 2 years that we've been doing this, 2.5 years that we've been doing this. Pero I think we just have to talk about that Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis trade. Luka going to the Lakers, AD going to the Mavs with Max Christie, first round pick. It's the trade that shocked the entire world, diba? So before we talk about that, we are going to do a special segment inspired by that trade. So Gab, explain mo naman yung special segment natin.
So we're gonna do what I want to call the shock meter. So I have 4 levels to this. So first one is meh. So when you get a news, meh, don't really care about it, or sort of shocking. Second level, oh, kind of shocking. The
Oh.
third level,
Oh.
wow.
Okay.
That's a third level. And then the last and the most shocking news and the most shocking thing of all is holy shit. That is gonna be those are the 4 levels. Those are the levels of our shock meter for today. For all the news that we're gonna talk about. And why we're doing the NBA, kasi kailangan din namin ng processing ng feelings at thoughts namin. Pwede sa chat group lang eh. Kaya kailangan mag-usap.
Kailangan ma-express, kailangan mapag-usapan eh. No? This is therapy for all the Luka Doncic fans, the Laker fans, the Mavs fans. Yun talaga eh. Yun yung medyo kawawa dito. I would say Mavs fans. But let's talk about it. So, I think I know where you guys are going with this. But let's get started. The first one is Luka to the Lakers, AD to the Mavs. Shock meter. How shocked were you when you heard this trade? And ano ginagawa mo nung narinig mo yung trade na to? Kasi nobody expected this. Let's start with you, Maui.
Holy shit! I
Holy
think yun
shit
yung
talaga.
only reaction ng mga tao. The fact that people were, all my groups were blowing up. Kahit the basketball groups were blowing up. A lot of people were saying, is this true? Fake news ata to. Totoo ba yung account ni Shams? Even the other insiders, the fantasy basketball insiders were saying, nahack ba ang account ni Shams? Kasi totoo ba to? The Dallas Mavericks have really decided to punt and trade Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis. I think yun yung cornerstones talaga nung trade na to. To me, it's crazy. It's crazy what happened, di ba? We saw how teams like New York were able to leverage. Teams like New Jersey were able, Brooklyn were able to leverage players like Mikal Bridges into 4 first-round picks. And Luka was only able to get AD and 1 first-round pick with Max Christie. Diba? I don't know. Maybe the Mavs are expecting Max Christie to also be an all-star. The GM has really taken a big risk. Diba? The fact that the owner's first reaction was the same reaction as us. He was laughing and thinking that maybe GM Harrison was joking. I think kahit si Rob Pelinka yung unang
Si Pelinka,
reaction. Diba? So this is crazy. To Lakers fans, congratulations. Congratulations for landing your generational talent for the next 10 to 15 years, I would say, to the Mavs fans, lamay. AD is one of the most, diba? Fragile. Condolences. AD is one of the most fragile players, diba? The reason why Dallas traded Luka was because of his conditioning. And they got a player who's not even known to be healthy for huge chunks of his career, diba? So to me, this is holy.
Ako, same boat
Gab.
as Maui. Definitely a holy shit moment for me. What was doing when I heard the news? I was actually playing Ultimate Frisbee. I have some sunburn proof. I have some sunburn as proof of that. So I just finished my last game. Then one of my teammates told me, "Oh my God, Lakers na si Lucas." I'm like, what? Nah, you're joking.
Hindi ka makapaniwala no?
Ito, sa phone ko. I'm like, huh? Then I went and Bleacher Report, first thing I saw, Luka for AD. I'm like, oh, exactly my reaction. Holy shit. What? I couldn't focus that. Actually, nanalo kami nung Frisbee tournament. Hindi kaya nasa isip ko yung Luka sa AD. Sobrang in shock ko. I wanted to hear whatever podcast. I wanted to listen to my guys at No Dunks. I wanted to hear their thoughts. I wanted to hear Bill Simmons. I wanted to hear everything because I could not process it. But eventually, as time passed, as I was calmer, yung napag-isipan ko, I'm actually happy as a Lakers fan. As Lakers fans, I think Lakers fans have to be happy. Yes.
Madaya talaga Lakers.
Madaya no?
Yes, the Lakers did it again. They got their franchise generational talent again. For some whatever reason, some blessing by the gods, they got Luka Doncic. Of course, I'm happy for Lakers fans. Now, I know some Lakers fans were scratching their heads. Why did we trade AD? Our defense was bad already. Now it's gonna get even worse. We can't defend anymore without AD. And I'm like, who cares? Who cares if we can't defend? Who cares if we're not winning this season? We're gonna be competitive for 10 plus years. That was the point of this trade. We got Luka. He's 25. He's gonna be good for 10
He's not
years.
even in his prime, diba?
He's not even in his prime. We're gonna be good for 10 plus years. Yes, we're sacrificing this season. The Lakers weren't winning this season. There was no chance we were winning this season. For the past 2 seasons, LeBron and AD have been very healthy and we've been in the play-in. So, to the Lakers fans, yes, it's sad to see AD go, but if you were the GM, if you were Rob Pelinka and Luka was offered to you, you'd be stupid to say no.
Too good to pass.
Even if too good to pass up. Even if they were asking for Anthony Davis, like, oh, I can't say no. We would be making a stupid mistake if we were saying no to someone offering Luka Doncic, no matter who they wanted or whatever they wanted. And Rob Pelinka, you only want 1 or 2 that you can trade? Okay. Go ahead.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. Go ahead. This was a brainless move. I also love the reporting by I think it was Sham or Tim McMenamin who said that right after
Tim
Rob
McMahon.
Pelinka got ako, yung Tim McMahon right after Rob Pelinka got call from Nico Harrison that he wanted to trade Luka to them, and he said, "I'll talk it over with the Lakers brass." And I'm like, what do you have to talk over? Who's saying no? Like, who's objecting to this? Do you really have to talk it over? Why?
Siyempre, kailangan mag-pretend ka muna, Gabo. Onting arte-arte.
Oh, but literal, feeling ko, feel ko ito yung simulation nangyayari kay Rob Palinque. Well, you want to trade us Luka for AD and a pick? All right. I'll talk it over. Hey, they want to trade us Luka. Then yung nag-konting celebration lang sila. Then, okay, we'll take Luka. Who was thinking about this? Who was objecting to this trade? The Lakers have their star of the future. Yes, we're probably sacrificing this season. It depends. If they want to win this season, they're gonna have to get more people. They're gonna make more trades in 3 to 4 days. They have to get a big. They have to get something if they want to win this season. But if they don't win this season, I'm not mad as a Laker fan. We're probably gonna win in the next 10 years, hopefully. For the Mavs, yung mas nagkakamotaw ng ulo because why did they do this? They must know something about Luka that no one else knows, because trading your 25-year-old MVP candidate, generational superstar, 5 straight All-NBA first teams, out of its 6 years in the NBA, and you trade him for a 32-year-old, as Maui said, barely available Anthony Davis and 1 first-round pick. I feel for Mavs fans. Sabi mo nga sa amin no start. You feel for. I think they were putting coffins near Dirk's statue in American Airlines Arena in Dallas because they're so pissed, so sad that Luka was traded. I know some Mavs fans are quitting as Mavs fans already because they traded away Luka Doncic. And I mean, I get it. But you still got back AD. You probably have a stronger team than the Lakers this season.
Right now.
Yeah. Right now, they have a stronger team than the Lakers. They'll probably compete for a championship once all their guys are finally healthy. Once AD's back, once Derek Lively's back, they're probably going to compete with the Thunder or the Rockets or the Grizzlies or the Nuggets for the NBA championship this season. So that's a silver lining. But for the next 10 years, Kyrie is what? He's 33? AD's turning 32? It's a very small win for a championship. And yun nga, you trade away the face of your franchise. Luka wanted to be there. Luka loves being in Dallas. Well, that's what I've heard. That's what I've read. All throughout the NBA seasons that Luka's been there, he's always wanted to be in Dallas. He's never imagined anywhere. So, I don't get it for Mavs fans. I don't get the excuses Mavs were saying about Luka. They're saying they have a problem with his conditioning, with his weight and his discipline. And I don't care. Who cares? He averaged 33, 9, and 9 last season. And he was not conditioned. You kidding me? And he plays. He's not conditioned, but he plays. Remember in the playoffs last season, he was limping. But there on the court, he was playing through injury. I don't care about his discipline. I don't care about his weight. He's putting up numbers and he's leading you to winning. And the other excuse is they want to win now. You were just in the finals, Dallas
7 months ago.
7 months ago, you were in the finals. You can't win now with Luka. You had to trade him away. So, I mean, they had a reason to trade Luka. For me, they should just say it because they're getting burned by their fans and by every other basketball or NBA fan. They're getting burned because they're not telling the truth. They're not saying what really happened. They're saying what the truth about Luka or whether there's something about his injury, kung parang si Joel Embiid na ba siya, na his legs really cooked, so he can't play a full season. Maybe, but they're not saying it. They're saying they want to win now.
Kulang yung justification no? Kulang yung justification nila for the trade Yun yung frustrating.
Yung frustrating. Another one they put out there, they were worried about paying Superman. Why won't you pay the Supermax to a top 3 NBA player? You pay every NBA player, every star. Every team pays its stars. Why won't you pay
perennial MVP candidate, top 3 player in the world. The Supermax extension, you gotta give him that. If you're the new majority owner of the Mavs and you cheapened out on paying Luka Doncic the Supermax, why did you even buy the Mavs in the first place? That's crazy. So I don't buy the excuses that the front office was putting out there. They said defense wins championships. They want to win with defense. You are already a good defensive team with Luka because you built around Luka. Remember all the
top 3
the past couple of seasons.
They were top 3 post deadline last year.
Yeah, they were already a good defense. So what are you talking about? Defense wins championships. Yes, AD is a better defender. He's not Luka Doncic. He's not Luka. He's Luka still, when he's on the court, he's amazing. He's generational. I don't get this from Dallas side. I get it more from Lakers side. I mean, I'm happy. Obviously, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm ecstatic that we got Luka Doncic. Sana mag-rub off LeBron konting conditioning and discipline niya kay Luka and we get the best Luka Doncic. Malay mo, yung katawan na ni Luka yung next season, parang sila na and he plays till he's 40, whatever, like LeBron. I don't know. But obviously, I'm happy that the Lakers got Luka Doncic. Sammy, my fellow Lakers fan.
Yeah, syempre happy, 'di ba? And admittedly, ako tama ka Gabi, the Lakers have been bad the past 2 seasons kahit na medyo healthy sina AD. And even this season, they're in a good spot compared to how they've performed in the previous seasons. Pero to be honest with you, I've sort of given up on the Lakers kasi hindi na ako maasa eh. I mean, wala naman ng pag-asa mag-champion eh. And the future did not look bright. They did not have most of their picks. They do not own most of their picks or control most of their picks. Obviously, LeBron was aging. They signed Bronny to 3-4 years. So ako parang Kebs lang. Ganyan lang ako sa Lakers whenever I hear Lakers news. So when I heard that they got Luka, number 1, holy shit ang reaction ko din dito. Obviously, I think everyone had the same reaction. Holy shit. It's just I can't help but to put on yung yung conspiracy hat conspiracy hat ko and then think of all the conspiracies.
Conspiracy theory, mga ganun.
Oo, 'di ba? Think of all the conspiracy theories na parang 'di ba? The whole season Adam Silver has been big issue yung ratings ng NBA, how it's not performing so well. Tapos, bang! You get the biggest trade, in NBA history. How's that for improving your ratings? And sino ba nagsabi nun? I think it was Bill Simmons na parang, this trade happened on the weekend na walang NFL. It's the weekend right before the Super Bowl. What are the chances, diba? Na biglang Luka Doncic trade, the Aaron Fox trade. What are the chances? So you can't help but to come up with all these conspiracies, diba? Of all the teams, can you imagine that? Of all the teams, sa Lakers pa nila pinadala. Probably the most popular franchise on the year after the Celtics won the championship. So ang daming mga ganong factors. But if you're a Lakers fan, you just have to take it. Honestly, kahit sino gusto nila, dapat ibigay mo, diba? Kasi AD's 31, LeBron's 40 years old. You get a 25-year-old MVP caliber player who could eventually be number 1 in the NBA. You take that 10 times out of 10. So, I think for Mavs fans, tama ka, Gab. It's frustrating, and I think talking to Mavs fans or listening to some of the podcasts then NBA podcasts, it's yung feeling of betrayal eh. Yun yung nararamdaman ng Mavs fans because you were set. You were set. You had your foundational piece in Luka Doncic for the next 10, 12 years, 15 years. You just had to build around that, and they had the pieces. It's not like they were bad as a team. They were just bad this season kasi medyo unhealthy sila. Sabi nyo nga, they were just in the finals. So, out of nowhere talaga. And yung sinasabi mo kanina, if you listen to the press conference, like with Jason Kidd, si Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd, parang it just opens up more questions than answering anything. Hindi mo maintindihan. Di ba, Mau?
Kahit yung mukha ni Jason Kidd, hindi niya maintindihan.
Hindi mo magets yung rationale. And I think yun yung frustrating if you're a Mavs fan. And by the way, I feel bad for the Mavs fans. Kasi Mavs fan ako before. Dirk Nowitzki fan ako. That was my first NBA jersey. So, it sucks. It sucks. Coming from that era na Dirk Nowitzki all throughout, parang Kobe, diba? All throughout one team. And then, Luka seems like wala pa tayong naririnig na it seems like Luka wanted to be there. So hindi mo nga maintindihan unless may hindi sila sinasabi, which is I think to Gab's point. Dapat sabihin na nila. O ano yung reason talaga, sabihin mo na kasi right now it seems like nobody understands them. Hindi natin gets yung rationale.
Wala nang team loyalty, 'di ba? As Giannis mentioned sa reaction piece niya on the Luka Doncic trade.
That's just crazy.
That Mavs fans angry. This is a franchise that was very proud of its loyalty. Dirk was loyal to them. They were loyal to Dirk. You know, that essence and how they... This is a rare chance na they had a generational superstar in Dirk. Bridge the gap between him and Luka. Nagsabay sila, di ba, for one season? Literally, sabay yung generational talent sila, yung franchise players nila. So, it was supposed to be loyalty. So, that's another thing that was angry to them. That made them angry. And another thing, they didn't stop Luka anywhere else. They just offered them to the Lakers.
Kaya nga, yun yung conspiracy eh. Talagang gusto nila mapunta sa Lakers eh. No? And diba, people always laugh at like Atlanta at Vlade Divac because they passed up on Luka during the draft. But now Dallas also traded. So Dallas looked really good when they got Luka nung draft. Now everybody's laughing at Dallas for giving up on Luka this early. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yan nangyayari pa nagpalit ng GM tsaka nagpalit ng owner, di ba? Anything can happen din.
Isa pa yun.
They were not the same people who drafted Luka. They were not the same people who believed that Luka can be that franchise generational player for the next 20 years.
Isa pa yun, no? Na, what are the chances na si Mark Cuban binenta yung team this year, di ba? Factor din yun eh.
Maui, kung yan yung ng bagong, I think it's Adelson's yung new owner ng Dallas Mavericks and Nico Harrison. They don't believe Luka gonna get their franchise player.
They're crazy.
What are they watching? Have they even watched that?
What are they smoking or eating?
Ako naman,
You watch Luka play? It's amazing.
tsaka not just for Dallas, di ba? Also for Slovenia. Ako naman, just some final thoughts.
Sige,
the
go.
timing also of the trade. Si LeBron, is this the farewell tour, di ba? I think people are speculating that he might retire kasi this is basically a punt play for this season. If they don't make the right moves within the next 3 days, 4 days, what's gonna happen? Di ba? LeBron has a player option for this summer also. But for the Lakers, they're really in a very good spot. I just have to say that they're probably in one of the best spots heading to the next 2 off seasons, diba? I think it was also reported that by 2026, when Luka becomes a free agent, he cannot sign the Supermax. So they're gonna basically get Luka for a discount, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2, they're gonna have, I think, 70 million in cap space. Diba? So maybe they can get a player like Giannis or whoever's not happy with their current team to pair with Luka in the next few seasons. So it's gonna be crazy.
It's a good thing you mentioned LeBron. That's another piece of the reporting that came out. They did not tell AD. They didn't tell LeBron about this, or they didn't consult
LeBron about this. Good. In my opinion, that's a good move, Rob Pelinka. The last time you consulted LeBron trade someone, you got Russell Westbrook. I think we all know how that turned out. The GM Ron is not really the best at making team moves. So definitely no. Good job on not consulting LeBron James.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the second big trade, the trade that happened a day after that Luka-AD trade. The Aaron Fox finally landing in his preferred destination, joining the San Antonio Spurs with Wemby. And I think the more surprising one is Chicago joining this trade. So naging 3-team trade wherein Zach Lavine reunites with his former Bulls teammate DeMar DeRozan in Sacramento. So obviously there are other pieces to this trade. Sacramento got a couple of first-round picks. I think Chicago got their pick back for 2025, which is going to be a big pick. But obviously the main pieces here, Fox to the Spurs, Lavine to the Kings. What do you guys think? How shocked were you? Let's start with you, Gab.
I was that was my reaction to this because there are already whispers about this trade. This is how trades are supposed to happen in the NBA. You get whispers and who's reporting on it. You get rumors about it from different
and you get a couple of first round picks, Gab. If you're trading the best player, you get a couple of first round picks.
You get a couple of first round picks. So this was not really much of a shock. There was a lot of reporting since last season. Zach Lavine, you wanted to be traded. There was a ton of reporting that from this season from Shams, the Aaron Fox to be traded to the Spurs, and it happened. So you're like, oh, it happened. The why it's not meh to me. Why it's above the lowest shock meter for me is on the Spurs part. They didn't give up anything. They didn't give up any of their young players. Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan. They're all with Spurs. They gave up their best players. Yung mga bangko.
Si Collins.
First round picks.
Yeah, they gave up their first round picks, Bowie, but now that you're getting the Aaron Fox, those first round picks are ano yun? Okay na. You have Key.
Saka they have a boatload pa, I think.
Oh, they didn't give up the Atlanta picks. Yun, medyo highly valuable yun, di ba?
So that's what made it a tier higher for me. A level higher for me on shock meter. It was that the Spurs essentially gave up their bench, the bench guys they weren't even playing, and the first round picks out of the thousands that they had. So this is a win for the Spurs. More than this for the Kings. Well, actually, you can argue it's also a win for the Bulls fans because now they're officially tanking. I think Bulls fans have
Capture the flag na.
They've wanted to tank for so long, and importantly, they got back their first round for this season. The Spurs had it from the DeRozan trade. They're giving it back to the Bulls, so now the Bulls can really tank because it was protected. They could not tank because they did not have their first round pick. Now they do, so it's tanking time. I think a lot of Bulls fans have been asking for this. One of my favorite podcast, Trey Kirby, who's a Bulls fan from No Dunks. He's been hammering the Bulls to tank. I mean, where you don't want to be in the NBA is the middle, where you're just okay. You're never winning anything, and you're never getting any pick, never getting any good players. And the Bulls have been there for 3 or 4 seasons now. They've just been okay. They're in the play almost every season, but now they're gonna tank, and I expect Vucevic is going to be traded in the next couple of days. I would be shocked if he stays in a Chicago Bulls uniform. Maybe Lonzo Ball also gets traded. I'll be shocked if they don't move tank.
It's time. It's time to, as Sammy said, capture the flag. Zag for flag. However you want to say it. It's time for the Bulls. So it's okay. For the Kings, it's just a one-on-one replacement. You take out Fox, put in Lavine. I mean, it's not as exciting as what happened with the Spurs or with the Bulls.
Maui, how shocked were you?
Actually, to be honest, this would have been a wow trade for me. But after that Luka Doncic trade, it's just an O trade for me. Still a good trade. I think ang biggest winner talaga. Well, actually, maganda yung point ni Gab. I was actually thinking yung Bulls really lost out on this trade because they weren't able to get a lot of capital out of Lavine, di ba? But from where they were a year ago when Lavine was untradeable, getting their pick back when they're not really competing, it could be a diamond in the rough pick, di ba? Maybe it ends up being capture the flag, as you guys mentioned. I like the pick. I like the trade also for Sacramento, di ba? Kasi much like the Bulls, I think they already plateaued maybe last season. Sacramento's one of my favorite teams to watch because they get up and down the floor. They're very exciting to watch. I love how they speed up the and now they can maybe this is their if this doesn't work out, they can start to rebuild also. They're getting 3 first-round picks, a couple of second-round picks. Maybe they just have to wait out yung contract ni Lavine if it doesn't work out, diba? So at least they have that option, diba? They had to give up some capital to get some players also to build up their team. For the Spurs, I like this move for the Spurs. As a Spurs fan, I love them taking this risk this early in Wemby's career, diba? Kasi you have to build pieces around him. You saw the effect of having a pure point guard like Chris Paul. They're instantly a playoff contender this season, diba? What more when they get the Aaron Fox, who could potentially be a good fit with Wemby, diba? Kasi the best fit for Fox is a big who can shoot. Fox is somebody who needs floor spacing. That's still his main strength, despite his improved 3-point shot, diba? So having a floor spacer like Wemby and having a lob threat with like Wemby and a pick and roll tandem mix with the Aaron Fox, who's quick like a fox, diba? is good for the Spurs. I want to see how it works, diba? I was excited with Stephen Castle as their point guard, but this is a very good move. This speeds up things for the Spurs. I love this move. Maybe this can catapult them to a playoff spot immediately this season, without even giving up a ton of their young guns. Diba? Si Zach Collins and Trey Jones are young guns that are considered veterans and maybe have already reached part of their ceiling. Diba? They didn't have to give up Keldon. They didn't have to give up Castle. They didn't have to give up Sohan. They didn't have to give up Basel. Diba? So they basically still have that young core with the Aaron Fox and Wembanyama and Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes as their mentors. So I love the trade basically for the all three teams. Before Gav spoke, actually kala ko talo talaga sobrang ang Bulls, but them getting that their pick back is very crucial to them.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, you know what? To talaga sa akin eh. Pero I'm coming from that Luka-AD trade. So parang wala na akong paki sa ibang trades eh. Wala, parang it doesn't matter. All other trades don't matter.
Players pa naman yung
Grabe kasi nauna yung pinakapasabog eh, di ba?
Usually
sa dulo pa. Dulo pa usually.
Parang nag-main course na ako eh. So, wala na akong appetite for the appetizers, di ba, Gab? Parang gano'n. Nag-main course ako, busog na ako. So, but yeah, I think you guys pretty much covered it. I think, the fact na nangyari siya right after that Luka trade, feel ko that's one of the reasons why wala masyadong give up yung San Antonio na talagang valuable asset. Kasi sabi nila, tingnan mo nga si Luka, si AD at si first round pick lang binigay ng Lakers eh. So, wag ka na humingi na masyadong marami. Fox wants to go to us eh. So, maybe the Spurs got lucky. They need to thank Rob Pelinka and the Lakers for doing that trade right before the De'Aaron Fox trade. I'm sure Sacramento wanted more, but if you're coming from that Luka trade, 'di ba, ang hirap na. For the Bulls, I love getting the 2025 pick. So capture the flag na nga. Actually, what I sort of don't like is the Sacramento deal. They did get 3 first round picks, pero ang nabasa ko is like protected yung isang pick, 'di ba? So it turns into 2 second round picks most probably. So it's 2 first round picks.
It's the Hornets pick. It's the Hornets pick, but it's top 14 protected. So
Protected,
lottery
yeah.
And
So it
have you seen
turns
the Hornets?
into
Wala na yun.
wala na yun. It turns into 2 second round picks. Yeah. Anyway, the thing for me is Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Sabonis, that looks exactly like the Chicago Bulls to me. Like, pinalitan mo lang si Vucevic into Sabonis, diba? Like, it's literally the same. I've seen this team before. Medyo deja vu yung dating sa akin. And that team was a play-in team. So, let's hope the first round picks work out for Sacramento. Yun
Sa
yung,
Eastern Conference pa yun. Play-in team in the Eastern Conference.
Oo nga, actually, that's a good point, Maui. That's a Eastern Conference play-in team. The West is a lot more difficult. It's a lot tougher. So, let's hope the first round picks will work out. Siguro the thing that they're clinging on to is like they've been good since Doug Christie took over. So, baka X-factor din si Doug Christie dito. But we'll see. And Zach LaVine has been playing very, very well and has been relatively healthy. That's historically hindi ganun si Zach LaVine. So that's what I'm worried about then dito sa trade. But if Fox wanted to leave, might as well get a star in return. Yeah. Any last words before we move on, Gab?
Just for me, this is a good sign for Wembanyama that the Spurs are willing to commit to him to win. From all that was said, for the way he reacted in the gold medal game in the Olympics, he wants to win. Right now, he wants to win. I don't think he'll be happy still tanking for the first few years of his career. I mean, I think he's ready to win now. He's already a cheat code on the NBA floor. So, the fact that the Spurs are telling Wemby na we're willing to invest on now is a good sign. That just makes it all the more likely he'll probably stay there for the long term. Diba? I don't think you'll get any trade requests from Wemby, knowing the commitment the Spurs have given him that we are going to win with you. So, it's a good move for the Spurs. Amazing.
Parang after tinid si Luka, hindi ko alam, will the Spurs commit to Wemby his whole career? I think that's another... kahit si Giannis, very skeptical na eh.
I'd like to give the benefit of the doubt to the San Antonio Spurs that they are smarter than the Dallas Mavericks. So
both in Texas both teams in Texas.
So I would say that they would be faithful to Wemby. I mean, I'm sure they're watching Wemby. As we've all watched Wemby. He's so good. Anyways, move on to our next topic.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about something more closer to home. So, we talked about yung mga performances ng former UAAP players in the KBL, the B League. I think it was like a few episodes ago. We got another career high performance, this time from KQ, one of the new young guys that joined the KBL. KQ scoring a career high 36 points and grabbing 12 boards. How shocked were you na this early, coming from that injury also, KQ has scored his career high? Let's start with you, Maui.
I would say wow to KQ for getting that career high 36 and 12, 5 3-pointers if I'm not mistaken. Kasi yung reports haven't been that encouraging so far from the insiders in Korea. I think ang daming reklamo about shot selection, about turnovers, and then he comes out and just deletes all the haters in one game. Tsaka it's not just that diba? This is just, I think, his 4th game in the KBL. Coming from a very bad ankle sprain also, diba? He just came back. He came back early from being injured, diba? So KQ is really a physical specimen, I would say. He's a beast. He's different also. I love the highlights. My reaction is a wow or even a holy shit because I watched the highlights of KQ get that 36 points. Diba? He was scoring from all over. From 3-pointers from passes, 3-pointers from off screens, 3-pointers off the dribble, mid-range off the dribble, driving to the basket, basically showing his whole package, including its patented floater. Diba? I love what I saw with Kevin Kiambao. It just shows that he's fully transitioned to a wing player and potentially to a guard player eventually. Ang ganda ng measurements niya. I think he was measured at 6'5" in Korea without shoes. 6'5" with shoes. That bodes well for Gilas Pilipinas in his future. I did not expect KQ to perform this good, this quickly. I think that's why yung reaction ko is a wow and a holy shit. Diba?
I agree.
He hasn't been efficient. He's been turning the ball over, which is to be expected for a player who had a ton of usage and is adjusting to a new role, diba? But apparently the coach of his coach just said, just be you. And he decided, I'll be me and I'll score 36 points and grab 12 rebounds in my 4th game in the KBL. Just showing that he has that ceiling to potentially reach other borders. Maybe the B League, maybe also much like 30, maybe in one of the European leagues or in the NBL. Just I love what I saw with Kevin Kiambao because he never fails to surprise me, even outside of the UAAP. I think that's the best thing I can say with Kevin Kiambao. Diba? Wherever he goes, wherever he has played, he has surprised me with how quickly he has adjusted, with how he shows that he has a ceiling. And Godspeed. Maybe he gets to higher tier league. Maybe he blows up for Gilas now that Kai Soto is out. Diba? I think he's showing that he can be a go-to guy. He can be utilized in different types of ways.
Gab.
I have a very different reaction from, I think, you and Maui, Sammy. It's a meh. Not in a bad way. It's a meh because I've seen this before. I was there live in Moa Arena. I still remember it up to now. Against Ateneo, KQ scored 32, 33 points. He was insanely unstoppable. The highlights reminded me of that when he was just on point. He was on fire. This was a meh for me because I know and I've seen KQ is capable of. I know he had a game in him. I know when
That's
I
a good
saw the
point. Yeah,
highlights,
that's a good point.
basic, yeah. As in, when I saw the highlights and everything, I'm like, basic lang to KQ eh. Lahat ng mga ginagawa niya is just basic. Basic lang to. This is
Chicken lang sa kanya,
what he
ganun.
does. Oh, chicken lang. This is what he does on a day in, day out basis. This is what he trains for.
Korean barbecue chicken na ba?
Maganda yan. Maganda yan, Maui. Maganda yan. But yeah, I think the B League is a higher level league than the KBL. I won't be surprised if we see him in the B League in the next couple of years. I think he's too good. I won't say too good. Maybe he can make it to the B League and even beyond. I mean, with his height, with his skill set, with a shot like that, I mean, it's incredible that he's developed such a deadly jump shot. So for me, it's a meh. I've always known he's had it in him. I'm not that amazed anymore what KQ has done because he's amazed me in more times than not in the UAAP. I've said it before. I just raise my hand up whenever I watch him do anything. So it's a meh. Sammy.
That's a good point, Gab, actually. Expected na he's that good, but I'm actually with Maui. My initial reaction was, wow. So, not a holy shit, but wow. I was impressed. Kasi, this guy was just in the UAAP, like, what, 2 months ago or something like that. He was playing in a ligang labas. Tapos, he transfers to the KBL. He transfers to the KBL. Syempre, meron pang ano yun, di ba? Adjustment, may language barrier, it's a new team, it's a new coach, it's a new system, everything is new. And sabi mo nga, Maui, he just got injured, he's coming from injury, he has to work his way back. Walang pahinga-pahinga dito kay KQ eh. He just scores 36 points and 12 rebounds on his ano sabi mo, Mau, fourth game. So, that was wow for me. And yun talaga eh, like, naturally gifted talaga siya and talented, tama ka, Gab. And it goes to show the IQ, the basketball IQ is there din. Kasi tayo nga sa trabaho, 6 months yung probation mo eh. 6 months para mag-adjust ka sa bagong trabaho. Si KQ, wala pang 4 games pa lang, mukhang well-adjusted na, no? So, I'm hoping, I'm hoping that we'll see more of this from KQ, na it's not going to be a fluke. And I think it's not. And I agree with you guys na, I think there's a good chance for him to move up in a bigger league, basically. So that's my take on KQ. Okay, moving on. Pag-usapan na natin yung UAAP. Medyo slow news. Pagbigyan nyo na, guys. We'll talk about 2 things in the UAAP. The first one, I don't think it's 100% confirmed yet, but we've seen Navs mention it. A few people write about it. Looks like the front runner, if not siya na yung coach, for the UE Red Warriors head coaching job is going to be Josh Reyes, the son of Coach Chot Reyes and the recent long-time coach for the Gilas, the younger Gilas teams, diba? Batang Gilas. So, how shocked were you when you heard about this? Because we talked about the initial list of coaching candidates that UE had.
Wala
and
man
Josh
lang
Reyes
siya
was exactly, wala man lang siya doon. So he was not part of the initial list. Coach Eric Altamirano already backed out, and then we hear suddenly na si Josh Reyes na yung front runner. So how shocked were you when you heard about that? And what are your thoughts on like Josh Reyes becoming the head coach of the UE Red Warriors? Let's start with you, Gab.
Ako, this is a wow of surprise, type of shock for me when I heard that Josh Reyes was the front runner, because yun nga, he wasn't part of the list. In the initial list, it was like they were going for more experienced coaches. They were going for more coaches with a longer resume, a more established mind, Eric Altamirano, Ariel Vanguardia. I think there was some news also about Boyet Fernandez possibly being considered yung a former coach in San Beda. So there was that. But now out of the blue, they're now considering Josh Reyes as the front runner, and this is a wow, because I advocated for having a fresh mind, a younger mind to coach the United Warriors. But Josh Reyes never came to mind, to be honest. I was thinking more of like a Charles Chu or of that caliber to coach the UE Red Warriors. That fresh. I didn't know Josh Reyes was someone even considering. Well, for one, his resume is not that impressive. He's been the head of the program for more than a decade, and he hasn't really accomplished much. I don't think, right? Correct me lang if I'm wrong, Maui. I don't think he's won much in the Batangilas program. I mean, the tournament barely even won anything. I mean, he's frustrated a lot of Gilas fans because in their eyes, he's only there because he's the son of Coach Chot Reyes, and I can't blame them. It looks that way because he had no
coaching experience, and suddenly he's the head of the Batang Gilas program. So I can't blame them for thinking that way. But his coaching resume is not that impressive. He's not someone that you automatically think of as one of the brightest young basketball minds in the country. Yes, he's on Tim Cohn's coaching staff in Gilas, so maybe that's something that they're banking on, right? Maybe he's developed more coaching acumen. He's gone beyond just simply having a dribble drive offense. You're taking after Coach Chot Reyes. So maybe you're banking on that, but this is a wow because this is a gamble for if you're UE. Again, he's not proven. He hasn't proven that he's a winning coach in the youth level. So I don't know. Maybe he said some good things in his interview. Maybe he's enticed them by developing a new system that he thinks will work in the UAAP. Maybe he has a lot of connections in Batang Gilas. Maybe that's one thing that they want to bank on. Maybe he can get some more players.
That's a good point.
Diba? He also has some connections with, corporations, the AP group. Yung sino man, maybe he can get more funding into UE. Maybe that's one angle that they were looking at for Reyes. Coaching is not something I would have considered the strength of Josh Reyes. I mean, he has not won much in his tenure as the Batang Gilas program head. So this is a wow. This is a wow news for if UE is really gonna push through with having Josh Reyes. On the other hand, it's also a proving ground for him. I mean, a lot of people don't like him. Let's just put it that way. Just because he's been the Batang Gilas program head, he's the son of Coach Chot Reyes. A lot of people don't like him. This is something. If he can respect and bring UE back to the Final Four, this is a good thing on Josh Reyes' resume. Well, he can vault himself. His coaching acumen, his coaching resume will definitely expand if he can somehow give UE a winning season, a Final Four season. So it's a good gamble both for Josh Reyes and for the UE Warriors. Let's see how it turns out if it's really true. Maui.
Yeah. For me, it's an O news. We'll have to wait, diba, kung once it's confirmed. Kasi grabe yung coaching search ng UE. It's turning into it's so crazy. So many names have been thrown out. I thought it was gonna be, it was already confirmed, pero hindi pala. But let's see what happens. But I like what you said, Gab. That's what I was gonna say. This is gonna be a chance for Josh Reyes to prove himself. Diba? After all of the, kasi nadamay siya eh. With all of the issues with Coach Chot, also with the national team, diba? Even yung Batang Gilas stint niya, he was still able to lead them to the World Championships. But nothing really that stands out a lot, diba? For Josh Reyes so far. I mean, there's a reason why coaches like Coach Tim and the other coaches are getting him as assistant coaches. So maybe he has a great mind that we don't know that just needs somewhere to be able to showcase it, diba? So if I'm Josh Reyes, I'm excited if I get the job, diba? Kasi this is finally something this is a platform where he can not bank on his name. I would say maybe this is a platform that he can finally prove and show that he belongs. Diba? For UE, I think this could be a right move. They have to take a risk for UE. They can't be safe for now, diba? The program needs revamping. They need a new mind. They need basically somebody to really change the whole landscape of their basketball program, diba? What more having a Gilas youth coach, diba? Maybe they can convince all of their young guns to stay from the high school program to the seniors program. Maybe Josh Reyes can develop some of these guys, diba? If you're a youth coach, I hope that Josh Reyes, one of the specialties of Josh Reyes is developing players, diba? Kasi that's where he was put, diba? That's where he really was able to make a name for himself. But it's a wait and see for me. Diba? We'll never know until we see Josh Reyes really in the UAAP. Maybe he surprises us, diba? And he gets his job back as a Batang Gilas coach or even more so, diba? But there's a reason why even si Coach Tim has decided to put him in his coaching staff. So maybe we see that reason once he gets to UE.
Yeah, I agree. Pretty much agree with all your points. I'm more with Gab here. It was like wow to me. Did not expect it. Sabi nga natin, pinag-usapan natin yung list of coaching candidates nila. But you know what? I like the zag. I like that UE is taking a risk on a coach, and I think it could be a win-win situation for both. UE is taking a risk on Josh Reyes, but for Josh Reyes, UE is also giving him an opportunity to prove himself. Sabi nyo nga. So, Josh Reyes and UE could help each other out here, and I think it's a mutually beneficial partnership. And I'm hoping, to be honest, sila na nga yung magkatuluyan, or si Josh Reyes will become the UE head coach. He is a relatively youngish coach. May experience naman siya being an assistant to Tim Cone, to his dad, Coach Jot Reyes. He has the connections, tama ka Gab. Hindi ko yun naisip na parang, he has a lot of connections to PBA teams, to corporations, etc. And naisip ko na rin yung he was a former youth coach, so he should be good at developing young players, right? So that's my assumption then. So I'm hoping this gives Josh Reyes an opportunity to really prove himself. The one thing though, the one caveat for me is I hope UE will give him as much leeway as they did Coach Jack Santiago, who every season sinasabi natin, looks like they're going to fire Coach Jack Santiago, looks like he's going to get kicked out the door, but he was with UE for like 3 years or even more, I forget. Kasi I do remember the last time they coached like a young coach who was a former youth coach. That was Coach Joe Silva. That did not end well. I remember he
was one season.
Yeah, he had one season, was 1-13, and then didn't he like resign like a day before the start of the UAAP season, something like that. So, I just hope there's a better ending to this partnership between Josh Reyes and the UE Red Warriors. Okay, moving on. Final news. UAAP news, and then yung next segment natin, maybe let's just do a part 2 because napahaba na yung conversation nito. Grabe, syempre Luka-AD trade. Final UAAP news, Russell Ogana from the De La Salle Green Archers transferring to UP Diliman. How shocked were you? And this is a guy we saw in Pinoy Liga, and we really liked him in Pinoy Liga in Phil Oil. So how shocked were you when you saw, obviously, si Navs posting this bit of news? Let's start with you, Maui.
Ako, wow, yung news, di ba? Kasi I think si Ogana really performed pretty well. I think they've had tournaments with sila Amos, Pablo, Baclaan, and si Russell Ogana is a name that keeps on getting mentioned, di ba? Maganda yung balita kay Russell Ogana, is performing pretty well. But aside from that, this is a wow because UP was able to steal somebody from La Salle. It's getting crazier and crazier yung UAAP, diba? Any team has a chance to lose a potential key player, diba? UP getting Ogana is crazy to me, and it's preparation for them. Kasi I think after season 88, they lose a ton of players from the NU program of Coach Gold. Diba? So they're starting to stack up some players to potentially replace the veterans, the proven, the children of Coach Gold in UP. Ogana's really performed pretty well in a lot of tournaments, and I think they can work on that. But let's see what happens. I still believe that UP has a very deep team. I still believe that when you go to UP, you always risk that you don't get enough playing time to showcase your talent. But all it takes is 1 to 2 seasons naman diba, to showcase your talent. But Ogana will lose 2 years eligibility Diba? Tama. Despite not being
Correct.
in the lineup. So another player hit by the residency rule despite not even having the chance to suit up yet in the UAAP. I think that rule is really gonna burn a lot of players eventually within the next decade or so, and will eventually be abolished or changed. Diba? Losing playing years when you haven't even suited up to for a UAP team officially is crazy to me. But this is wow just because the rival of UP, which is now LaSalle, has stolen a player from them.
Ako, this is more of a interesting type of shock because listen, I've been impressed with Russell Ogana, but in the few chances I got to see him play in the past, but as Howie said, this risk him. He's losing 2 years of eligibility. Another reason why I've been so against this new residency rule, new eligibility rule for that the UAP is imposing on its student athletes. Majority of the players who are affected by this rule haven't even played UAP basketball to begin with, and they're being punished for it. Russell Ogana has not played a lick of UAAP basketball, and he's already being punished by the UAAP. Crazy. That is stupidly crazy. That is just pwede sana more alaw, just some bystanders na biktima lang nitong rule that was started by the likes of Panoy Remogat, Kian Baklaan, and eventually si Mason Amos, but he was the one that, na capture nung residency rule na yun. For Russell Ogana, it's a good gamble. As Maui said, a lot of UP players, perimeter players are graduating after season 88. So a lot of minutes are opening up in season 89. But knowing how UP has recruited their recruiting pattern the past couple of seasons or the past couple of off seasons, I don't think they're gonna stop recruiting after Russell Ogana. They're probably gonna stack up on a ton more talent, and it's, as I always say, minutes are not assured for Russell Ogana. Despite the good move and the minutes opening up in season 89 for UP Fairun, I would expect that UP would still be recruiting a lot more blue chip recruits and rotational players. It's not a sure thing for Russell Ogana, and it has to work out because he can't transfer again after UP, because he has to really carve out something in UP or else he's done. Well, he can't transfer anymore, unless to the NCAA. Maybe that's the only move left for him. Perhaps that'll be a good future segment. Best UAP to NCAA transfers. But yeah, it has to work out for him in UP, and that's not a sure thing because it's UP. But yes, open up, but you never know who's gonna be there. I mean, yes, minutes are not assured. A roster spot for you, Russell Ogana, is not also assured in season 89. I guarantee you that. There's gonna be a ton more talent coming into UP for season 89, and it's a gamble for him. Hopefully, it works out. There's gonna be a ton of competition, so good luck to you, yung Russell Ogana. For I mean, this is a byproduct of you over recruiting. Also, I mean, we call out UP for over recruiting. LaSalle, you started in 2010s. You're doing it again, and now players from your camp are transferring. I mean, he's a talented guy, but there's not enough playing time for him. There's not enough playing time for him in LaSalle, so he's transferring elsewhere. We've seen this movie before, the LaSalle Green Archers. We've seen it before. It's played out multiple times in the past. Robert Bollick, hello. And so we're seeing it again. It's happening again. Sammy.
I'm with Maui on this. Mas leaning towards a wow for me, and I think na mention niyo naman lahat ng points. I think for one, as Maui said, it was surprising that he moved from Lasal to UP. Obviously, they're rivals. Parang nagpapalitan sila, 'di ba? Last year si Pablo naman lumipat to Lasal. So ngayon naman Ogana to UP. Also, wow for me was because sabi nyo nga, it's surprising that he moved to another UAAP team because that means he's losing 2 years of eligibility. I was Ogana, I wanted some playing time. I wanted to play more. Maybe I looked at the NCAA, follow the footsteps of like a guy like Chris Hubilla, who kept transferring from one UAAP school to another and then ended up in the NCAA being part of that Mapua Championship team. Shout out to him. So it was a bit also shocking to me na nag-transfer siya to another UAAP team, and that team is UP. And right now it looks good. Sabi niyo nga, it looks good because not a lot of people will be back by season 89 kung kailan siya first maglalaro for UP, diba? All the main guys will be leaving by then. But mahaba pa yung aantayin natin for season 89. For sure, UP has a lot of talented recruits lining up to play for them. They're one of the premier teams and they're the defending champions. So a lot of people want to play for them. So it looks good now for Ogana, but we'll see once season 89 starts. We'll see kung ano na itsura ng roster or ng lineup by then. So yeah, that's it for today's segment. I hope you enjoyed yung shock meter namin. Comment down below, ano yung reactions niyo to the 5 things we talked about? And share your thoughts. I did mention that we are going to do another segment, the most shocking transfers in the UAAP. Let's do that again as a part 2. Let's cut this episode. Stay tuned for that. We'll see you again next time. Comment, subscribe, like, share with your friends. Bye-bye.